Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Going Rounds podcast. As you can see, I got a bit of a different setup here because I got myself an in-studio guest. This is my daughter, Trinity, uh, better known as Tenettrin on Twitch. She is a gamer. She likes playing Xbox, right? That's what you play on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a little bit different for both of us. Like I don't usually have somebody in studio. As you can tell, it's kind of a makeshift setup, but it is what it is. We're here to do this shit. I wanted to make sure that I got her on here. She loves MMA as well. You're gonna get to know her a little better, do a nice little introduction of her, and let her speak her mind about a couple things. And yeah, and I can tell she's a little nervous, but that's okay, Trent. I'm always nervous too. Um, let's do our typical making sure that everything is up and running, which I'm a little annoyed because right now I don't I don't see a notification, so that sucks.
Yeah.
Says like, oh, there
It
it
says
is.
right there, yeah.
Ah, nice. Okay, I have to make sure because this is a new setup for me, and when I do a new setup, as you guys know, shit tends to go wrong. So that sucks. But anyway, Trent has to deal with me all the damn time, but now I'm gonna have her do a little something different and talk a little for herself because I just realized that cable sitting back there kind of threw me off. I'm usually blocking it, that's why you can't see it. Oh wow, we're getting messy today, I guess. So anyway, here we go, Trent. Um, yeah, so tell everybody, you've been gaming for how long now? What do you think?
Years wise, I'm not really sure because I've been gaming for since I was a little kid at least. It's
Yeah,
been a long time. I can't, like I said, I can't give a year, but
right.
been pretty long.
So like, I mean, you're streaming on Twitch now, and you've been doing that for how long?
It's been a couple months. I want to say like 2 months total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I've been helping her obviously get her set up together and stuff, but I've been kind of keeping hands off as much as I can, trying to get her to learn everything that she needs to learn, giving just that little bit to make sure that she, you know, has everything set up and ready to go. Because this is, me doing this podcast has been nothing but a learning experience. So, uh, I'm constantly learning things, and I'm constantly, you know, teaching her things because I just want to make sure that she can get her setup good to go and be comfortable with it. Like, I'm pretty much comfortable with this. So, and you can, tell me to shut up with the knows because I say that shit way too much. You should know though. I said she has to hear me talking all the damn time. But anyway, as you can see, she brought her own comfy little chair in here with her. So, yeah, and just tell everybody like what you like to play mostly. What's your go-to games? What are your favorite games? What are you usually streaming?
Um, Go-to game has always been Call of Duty, so that's what I mostly stream for the most part. Sometimes it gets a little frustrating, so I'll hop on to like Apex. I pop off on there a little bit, and it's kind of fun. It's only battle royale, so but Call of Duty mostly is what you'll see me be playing. But it's either like multiplayer or Warzone. But it kind of just ranges. Every year a new game comes out, so
Yeah.
just hop on there.
So, I mean, if you could only play one iteration of one game, what would it be?
Call of Duty.
Yeah, but which one?
Oh, like like any Call of Duty game?
Yeah,
I'd have to say probably Modern Warfare 2,
yeah.
the old one, yeah.
The old one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because I know they started rebranding things, so just like
Yeah.
they do everything, rebooting shit and whatnot. They're already doing that shit with games that I was playing. So that's the thing. Trent used to play with me sitting in the living room and fucking around, and I was never huge. I would just play basically while my wife was in the shower. So she'd be taking a shower, and I'd be like, "Hold on, I'm almost done. Hold on," and I try to get in a couple games, and Trent would be there either playing with me or just watching. So I started with all the Xbox and stuff, playing Call of Duty because I loved doing it. But it just fell off for me. I didn't have enough time to keep going. Little did I know, it'd become a huge thing and people would actually make money doing it. So, Trend just got started, so, we're yet to see how far she's gonna go, but, I have faith in her, and I think she's gonna do big things. Everyone's gotta get started somewhere. Like I said before, I'm maybe this is episode 23, so I may be 23 episodes in, but I still feel like I just started. I'm always learning new stuff and always trying to make things better. Um, Quick little side note, if you look down at the bottom of the screen, you see that my social media is going and I got trends going as well. So go follow her, all of her socials, Tenettrin. That's just down there to remind you. And don't forget to like and subscribe and throw a comment in there. I got the chat up here. If you want to ask us any questions, go for it. We'll try to get to them as the best we can. Obviously, this podcast is about MMA and combat sports, but I'm going to have people on that are, maybe not oriented around those specific subjects, but for the most part, Trent is also an MMA fanatic like I am. She probably represents for MMA just as much as I do. She may not follow everything like I do cuz I'm a freak, but her thing is gaming, so that's where she's, big on. But yeah, so tell us a little more about your gaming experience. How do you feel about it so far since you started streaming? Like, is there any big obstacles? Like, what kind of things are you liking the most out of it?
I say obstacle wise is definitely getting it all together because I was starting off from like having my Twitch up on my laptop next to my like on my bed next to me and then playing off the TV, Um and then I just kind of stream off Xbox onto Twitch and the only obstacle was it would come out really fuzzy on the other end, it seemed like, or when I would post like a clip or something when I started to.
Right.
That all went smoothly, that was never a big issue, I guess, but then when I moved into, like, streaming, I got the monitor, and then I got Streamlabs going. That was by far the biggest difficult I've had to deal with, and still kinda deal with it now, even though I got everything pretty much going. Like, right now is the audio. I got that chat cable and hooking it up to the capture card and everything, and, audio keeps cutting out, but I got better, I fixed that on my own
Yeah.
for the most part. But um it's just making sure that everything stays like my streaming soon is still in and out. So I had to re-upload again and again every time. But I think like my favorite part is just knowing I get to do something I love
Yeah.
and getting it going. Hopefully I can make it even bigger. I think also to add on to the obstacle was now that I have like work and school, um, posting like clips or YouTube videos really rough
Yeah. Tell me about it.
because I had to go back and watch like 2, 3 hours. Like yesterday, I streamed for 3 hours. And I had to go back. Good thing is I remember a majority of the time where my best like gameplay was,
Right.
so I can go back. But I gotta edit it, gotta post it, make sure it all looks good. But
And
that,
I don't envy you on that part because I don't usually have to edit anything. So when it comes to this, I'm usually doing it live. It goes out right away. And all I have to do is all the prep stuff. All the prep work is like the biggest part for me. So having to go back and edit things and remember. So this little thing helps out a bunch. It's the Stream Deck.
mm,
And I mean, it's gotten popular because a lot of gamers use it, and I know you know that because you've seen them all with their setups and all that stuff. So at some point in time, I'm sure you're gonna move over to doing something like this because then you can actually, I think you can actually at least notate, if not mark, in the video where you want to start from and stop from,
mm,
or maybe even start a recording right then and there. But of course, in gaming, you're never gonna be ready for something to happen. So you can at least mark it. So
mm.
if something crazy happens, mark it at that point and just at least know that that you can go to that area and you'll be right there instead of having to watch all the way through. So those are some cool things that you can do in the future. But for now, pen and paper work too.
I didn't even realize it like a stream deck did that,
Oh, a
like
Stream
marking
Deck
it.
can do all kinds of shit. All
I
kinds.
figured.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I've learned all kinds of things that I can do just from the little bit of stuff I do here. Obviously I control everything from this when it comes to visuals and all that good stuff. So hopefully we can move you on to that and get you to learn all that. And it's still work, but it makes things a little easier. So, other than like the setup and all that stuff, what about those fucking haters?
Oh my god. That's a
Because when I was gaming, Jesus, I had to turn the chat off because I would just get in trouble talking mad shit. Go figure, right? What do you have to deal with?
I think my big thing is because obviously, like, I've used a headset for since you guys pretty much allowed me to,
Right,
and I really can't keep my mouth shut sometimes. So that's another like big factor of it. But like ever since I was like talking in game chat, you can tell I'm a girl. Like it's pretty like straightforward. Um, but a lot of dudes are just haters, and so I say a couple things, I'm just going along with the game, making call outs, and I'm either told to like shut up or go back to the kitchen, make him a sandwich. It's just like I've been called names that I should not be called named.
right.
But I mean, it doesn't affect me. It kind of just makes me laugh. I think it's stupid in a way because I'm like, I'm just on the game to have fun, do something I love and have a passion for.
Yeah,
And this is all I'm hearing in my headset. Obviously, I can just mute, but I'm like,
but it's part of the game.
it's part of the
Yeah,
game, like you said. So it's kind of just, I'm just doing it, but it is annoying.
yeah.
But talk my shit, and sometimes it works out for the best. Other time, it's constant back and forth, or I just don't want to deal with it. So I kind of just
Blow it off.
blow it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Hey, for you motherfuckers talking shit, you better watch out. Just saying. But, no, that's kinda one of the things I figured you had to deal with because, like I said, even me being me, just, like, not even talking shit, just trying to be cool with people and stuff, they still talk mad shit.
Mhm.
So and then you get the little fuckers that are, like, 7 and talking the most shit. So
Exactly.
yeah, and it's gotta be worse for you because 'cause you're a girl, so they wanna talk all that, and, besides that, I mean, I'm sure people in your everyday life maybe, uh, wanna talk shit because 'cause you're a girl and you're a gamer and now you're
Mhm.
streaming, so, you know, what do you have to deal with any of that anymore outside in real life, or do people just kinda think it's cool when you tell them that you're doing it?
When I was in high school, I mean, I know it kind of came off as like jokes, but I would have like a lot of guy friends talk shit and say stuff like that.
Yeah,
But I'm like, now everyone's so supportive, like friend wise, and then you guys, just whole family, and then like got a girlfriend that's supportive and
right.
thinks it's super cool that I do it.
Yeah,
So it like I don't have to deal with it anymore,
that's good.
really every day.
That's because people are mostly haters online. Because yeah, they like to talk shit. I'm surprised I haven't gotten more shit talking done to me for this. There's plenty to talk shit about. I fuck up all the time, but it is what it is, and I'm just being real. So
Mhm.
what are the types of things what do you like the best out of it besides just doing something that you really are passionate about? Is there any particular aspect of it that you like the most? Putting things together, prepping, just playing the game in general is obvious because that's why you got into it. But is there any special portion of streaming slash gaming that you like the most?
Now that I'm like I really like prepping for it. It is very time consuming, and
Right.
obviously, like we mentioned, we run into a lot of problems, but I do like setting up for it now, and I learned a lot through it. So I also really like doing that 'cause learn new things every time.
Right.
But I think like aside from that, gaming's just been kind of like a getaway almost, other than just like having fun no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But it's more of like a getaway from like I had a rough day today and maybe later I'm gonna go game and get my mind off of it.
Yeah.
So definitely that, and then just whatever's going on in my head goes away, and I just have so much fun and it makes me forget everything
Yeah.
that's like going on right now or
Right.
did go on or something. So
No,
it's a good
that
getaway.
that makes sense because I'm the same way. I have a crap day at work all day and it's everything's going shitty. And then I'm like, hey, I got a podcast with the guys today. It's stressful on nights like this because I have a lot to prep for and I'm doing everything, but I still enjoy it once I sit down and do it. But when the podcast with the guys, like that's my getaway too, because I just come in here, even though my problem isn't with you guys, but it's with what happened outside. The day just sucked, so then I come in here and we start talking about whatever, laughing and joking. And so yeah, yours is gaming, mine's podcasting,
Mhm.
so it's cool. Um, as you can tell, you know, I don't think I could ever deny that Trin is my daughter. We we have a lot of things in common, obviously, that we do the same, and, yeah, I love the fact that she comes to me and helps, wants me to help her with everything that she's doing, and the fact that, I can help her, and she always lifts me up and it supports me as well. Just checking out what people are saying, and haha. All right. Christo's in the chat. What's going on, guys? And of course, my wife and Trent's mom's in there. We love her and thank her for her support. Yeah, but so I just wanted to get into a little bit about, what you got going on with the gaming stuff, and obviously because that's what you have going right now. And this girl's busy. She's got school, she's got work. She's kind of working two jobs at the moment. And then she's still putting together a stream and gaming, and streaming at the same time and doing everything like that. So I commend her for her hard work and everything she does, and I'm glad that you do it. And
Thank you.
I support you all the way, you know that. And even if it doesn't seem like I'm extremely wanting to help at the moment, it's because a lot of times I want you to learn the things on your own, and I want you to be able to troubleshoot it without me having to be there. Because you're obviously not always going to live here with us. And so I'm
Yeah.
not going to be able to just go and help you. So I help you when you get into those deep troubles. But otherwise I try to make sure that you kind of work your way through it. And then you can bring me the problems and see if we can sort it out together. So obviously I'm not a gamer and I don't stream on Twitch. So that's a little bit of a thing for me. I have trouble trying to figure things out here and there because I don't even watch people gaming. Like she will play a game and have a stream next to her and then have her phone turned on with the stream going there too. And I'm like, how are you paying attention to any of this? Then again, I sit on the couch and I'm prepping for the podcast. I'm on my phone entering texts and stuff, and I'm doing all those things too. So like I said, we're pretty similar. I am burning up in here. It is
It's
hot
hot in
as shit.
here.
Michelle, if you're still listening, turn the AC on.
Please.
I'll do it myself. So a little more into the MMA side. What like what's the furthest what?
Real quick. I know we talked about it the other day, but did you want me to explain my name? Like
Oh, good call. Yes. Yeah, before we get off that, because I mean, I don't know if anybody recognizes what the name's about, but obviously, as you can see on the screen, her name is Tenettrin, and this is exactly what I told you. Make sure you bring things up. We're not done talking about gaming completely, but I figured, little transition. But yeah, her name is Tenettrin, and this is why. So, and you know what? I kind of remember, but I like hearing what it's about. So yeah, tell us.
yeah, I forget a lot when we talk about different subjects, so I figured I'd just throw it out there.
Definitely.
Um, but so Tenet is I'm sure you've seen the movie,
Yep.
but and I don't know who else has seen the movie. Badass movie, long
Definitely.
as hell, but I love it. And it's pretty much like not a lot of people seem to understand what the movie is about, but I really like the concept of it being more like technology kind of like time travel, reverse time along with technology.
Right.
And I love technology. Anything it can be stupid as fuck sometimes. But I love like the whole concept behind that movie and everything crazy that just happened. It's like I don't know. The name like really stuck with me too when I was trying to think of names.
Right.
And I think that's definitely a top movie of mine. So the fact that I love that movie and technology, it kind of just went and
Yeah.
then along with trend behind it.
Yeah, it definitely flows.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, if you guys have seen the movie, you know what she's talking about. And if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out because it's a damn good movie. It's a little investment in time, but when you're sitting on the couch doing nothing, turn it on. It's pretty good. And then you'll see what she's talking about. And I mean, it's kind of a mind-blowing, kind of a mindfuck of a movie, honestly, but it's pretty dope in my opinion. I've heard people say the other thing, and they get a little weird about just the jumping around of time, and it's hard to follow the timeline of what's happening in the movie, but I enjoy it, and one of those that I could watch over and over again for
Oh
sure. And
yeah.
every time I jump into like, you can jump into the middle of that movie and be like, "Holy shit," like, just be enthralled in what's happening at the
Yeah.
moment. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So I enjoy the fact that you found something like that because I know I kinda gave you a name, but at the same time, it's good to for you to, like, find your own.
Mhm.
It's the same with me with going rounds, like, that was just I had a list of things that I was gonna call my podcast, and I couldn't figure out what the hell I was gonna call it, and then I found going rounds, and that one just kinda stuck, and it helped that no one else had a podcast name then and stuff
Yeah.
like that, so it's tough because there's a lot of people talking about MMA, and there's a lot of MMA podcasts, so obviously, I gotta stand out, but, if I have a name that doesn't sound like anybody else's, that might help a little bit. Sometimes it helps more when you have something that does sound like someone else's, because then they might get confused. You get those accidental follows and shit. We've kind of experienced a little bit of that on our other podcast. But, sometimes that's a good thing because, you get people that follow you for that reason, and then they're like, "Hey, you know what? This is kinda cool. Let's just keep watching." So, either way, being unique is good too. So
Yeah.
um, but yeah, MMA. What's the earliest memory you have of MMA? Like maybe watching or anything around it. Like what do you remember? Because you guys always remember these like crazy out of the blue facts of things that I don't remember for shit.
um, I would say not the well, now not the old house, but the house before.
Yeah.
Every Saturday having people over for UFC fights and just sitting around watching it, everyone getting fucked up and I don't know, like, do I remember some of the fights that were on the night? Not really, but that like as a UFC night, that's what I
Right.
remember. But then skip ahead a little bit, the UFC Expo, that was
Yeah.
so dope. I really
Yeah.
like that.
That was 2013. We took
Insane.
we took them for the first trip ever to Vegas to a UFC fan expo when they used to do them. Apparently, they do some kind of version of it these days, but it's not nearly as good because we saw all kinds of fighters like Chuck Liddell, John Jones, George St. Pierre, Anthony Pettis. I mean, the list goes on. All the guys that are pretty much on their way out right now or barely still fighting. Those I mean, all the big people back in the day. 2013, obviously, that was damn, that was 10 years now.
Yeah.
In July, we went in July. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I still remember so many fighters I met. I had Chris Cyborg sign my arm,
Oh, that's right, yeah.
and then like Cowboy took a picture with Haley.
Oh, no, you had not Amanda Nunez,
It wasn't Cyborg?
no, 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 it was, Kat Zingano. Remember she had the brace on her leg?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay.
And then we met the tap out guys. That was
Yeah.
dope too. Ryan Bader, we saw him multiple times.
Chuck Liddell signed my Chuck Liddell book.
Yeah.
And then like Phil Davis.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you got to show him your picture of you getting your black belt because you had
Oh
just got your black belt. So Trin was also in Taekwondo. So was her sister Haley. I mean, obviously, if you know us, they were in Taekwondo for a long time. And it's my fault. I mean, they got into it because they liked it, but they stayed in it because I forced them to. I told them they could not get out until they got their black belt. They both got it, right?
yeah.
Do you regret that, or are you
Mhm.
happy that you did it?
Even though it took forever,
Right.
I actually really glad I did. It's like a big accomplished thing, especially at such a young age.
Yeah.
But I actually really glad that I have it. So
Yeah, and I feel like it gave you guys a little more confidence. Haley didn't need it, but she's gonna be mad when she hears that. Maybe one day I'll get Haley on here. I know she was like, "Oh, I'll probably just sit there and shake my head," but I know. I'm like, you could just ask questions. I don't know. I keep telling people, you don't have to be an MMA expert to be on here. Now, this is why I wanted to have you. I wanted to have you on here anyway, obviously, but with you being a gamer and streaming now, we're kind of in the same realm. We got YouTube channels and we're both dealing with the battle of being online and dealing with putting something out there live. So,
Mhm.
we're in the same kind of realm of things. So that's why I was like, well, this is going to work out well. Um, so what you have a fight in your head that you remember, like the earliest actual fight. Do you remember any of that? Because I mean, we were watching UFC. I've been watching UFC for you were like probably how old? Man, you were young when I first started watching UFC.
Yeah.
Do you remember any fights specifically? I know it's a
Yes.
tough question. You don't have to break your brain on it, but
I not
you
really.
probably more remember the actual fighters. Like who was the first fighters that you actually recognized?
Like, while watching a fight?
Or like just hearing the name and knowing that they were a fighter?
Um, I'd honestly have to go with BJ Penn.
BJ Penn?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That one and Dominic Cruz.
right.
Those are, like, kinda the only
One
two.
Chuck.
Oh, well, Chuck, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, those kinda
So who do you think was your favorite fighter back in the day? Like, can you think of maybe who the first fighter was that you were like, I like that fighter. That's my favorite fighter.
um,
I would say that you would say Chuck Liddell just because you had the book and you got to meet him and all that.
yeah.
But I don't know if that's how you actually felt or if it was just something cool that happened.
I was gonna say Chuck Liddell, like, that was on the top of my head, but I was trying to think of any fights I remember really young
Yeah.
that I remember, like, standing in front of the TV and watching, but I have, like, no
You don't
recollection.
remember? Okay.
Uh-uh.
But your favorite fighter now?
Oh, right now?
Yeah, who's your favorite fighter now?
Oh, that's hard. Retired or unretired?
Okay, both.
Unretired, I would have to go with fuck, that's a toss-up between, like, 2 different people.
Who?
Sean O'Malley and Adesanya.
Okay.
And then I retired would have to go with Khabib or Rose.
Rose isn't
Oh,
retired?
not Rose, Joanna, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But Amanda Nunes?
Okay, well, her too, but I'm like, as top 2s, that's
Okay.
what I'd have to go with.
So you like
Amanda's like
You like Adesanya and Sean O'Malley that much? Damn, I've been fooled.
who did you
No,
think?
I thought Amanda was still your favorite fighter. She was your favorite fighter for a long time.
Well, like, it's yeah, she's definitely number 3, but it's like, not
Maybe at least your top women's fighter.
yeah.
Okay, that
Oh,
makes sense.
I did give a guy and a girls. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
but Adesanya and Sean O'Malley. Well, Sean O'Malley's right up your. Well, Sean O'Malley is right up your alley. He's a gamer. He's flashy. He does everything that you would be interested in, pretty much.
That
So
dude's badass.
yeah. I didn't like his take on what happened with Dana White, but we'll let
Oh,
that one slide
yeah, I
because
wasn't
he's
too
being a
thrilled.
fucking fool. um, but there was something else about MMA. I just had it in my head. Uh, damn, I lost it. That's no surprise.
Okay, let me ask you.
Okay,
You're 2 unretired and you're 2 retired.
like man and woman.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Okay, retired would be. Fuck, that's tough. See, I would have gone with Misha Tate, but she came back.
Oh, yeah, huh?
Yeah,
I keep forgetting about that.
that would have been my retire. Because so with women, it's tough because there's not a lot of women, like not a lot of top tier women that have retired. They're all kind of either in their prime now or on their way out.
Mhm.
Ronda Rousey's definitely not my favorite. Uh, I have mixed feelings because I appreciate what she did for the sport. It's like Conor McGregor. Like I appreciate what they did for the sport, but fuck them when it comes to how they are in their real life and or how they handle things. Like
Yeah.
Conor's just a douche and just is too much. And Ronda was just like, get over yourself, like with that bullshit. Acting all with the stupid mean mugging and acting like she's still the shit, even though she got the shit kicked out of her. I don't know. I can't stand it. So let me go with I know she has unpopular takes on things, but when we're talking about fighting, I will go with Gina Carano
Hmm.
because she's like a real pioneer of the sport. She was there before Ronda. even though people only remember Ronda Rousey, like, as being, like, one of the main women that started in fighting, like, nah. She made it she made it popular in the mainstream, and she made it popular with the UFC because they obviously said, "Here you go, have a fucking belt." And she defended it a bunch of times, but so I gotta give her credit on that one. But, when it comes down to it, she still wasn't a main pioneer like Gina Carano was.
Mhm.
So, I gotta give her that one. And for the male, I retired, I will have to go yeah, I'll go with Khabib too. Because, I don't know.
It's
'Cause
hard.
he's newly retired, like, if we're talking real retired, like, Anderson Silva was always one of my top favorites, but he's still kinda active in fighting, so it's hard to call him he's retired from MMA because he refuses to fight in any more MMA fights, he's already said that. But Chuck Liddell, it's so tough, like, Randy Couture,
Yeah.
uh, BJ Penn for sure is, like I mean, almost all these guys back here are retired. Matt Hughes, Matt Serra, Rashad Evans. Machida, I don't know if he's officially retired, but like Frankie Edgar just retired. Gray Maynard been gone forever. Aldo's retired. Holy shit. Almost everybody's retired.
Yeah, I would because I was gonna add Chuck on that list, like, how could I not? But
Yeah.
it's like it's been, like, far gone, it seems like, but, like you said, Khabib, what you said about Khabib is pretty accurate,
Yeah.
so still gotta
And I guess active fighters, I want to say Adesanya is one of my favorite active fighters too. But I don't know if he's like the favorite for me. Women, I'll stick with Rose Namajunas. I don't care
mm.
how boring her last fight was. I don't care. She may be on the downswing too, but I'll still go with Rose. Um, I like Misha Tate a lot, and if she was still retired, she would be my retired favorite fighter probably. But I can't do it for active. And male, well, I'm just indecisive, man. I like too many fighters. Adesanya is one of my favorites. But I guess if I were to go with somebody specific, I would say, I can't. I can't. I
You
really can't.
wonder who I just thought about? I don't know if I said it, but also Ngannou,
Right.
definitely top.
Yeah, I like the fact that he's kind of in that mode right now where he's kind of pushing against the company. So it's not good for the UFC, but at the same time, it's good for the fighters because if they lose Ngannou, that's not going to be good. And it sounds like it's a possibility. So anyway, yeah. I don't know what else. What else you got? Any other MMA stuff?
Mm,
So, oh, you know what? I did want to go over this before we get into like, because obviously I still have some fights to go over and stuff like that. So we're gonna do the normal. My stomach's making noise apparently.
that was your stomach?
Yeah. um, so we got some stuff to go over for sure, and I got some visuals still. So Trent's obviously gonna stay here with me and go through that a little bit. But one of the things that I wanted to get your opinion on because you're of obviously a different generation and you follow things differently and stuff like that. I wanted to see what your thoughts were on this whole Dana White controversy. So, obviously, if you guys don't know or if you haven't been following, you should be though if you're watching this. That means you watched my last episode and you should know already. But Dana White was caught on camera slapping his wife. Of course, only after she slapped him first. I don't know what happened there. It's not an excuse. I don't care if she kicked him in the balls. He should not be hitting her. Um, it still doesn't make it right for her to have done what she did. But, it's one of those things. They're both in the wrong, but he definitely should have never put his hands on her. So that's the whole thing. And so then we both have seen the video. He came out yesterday, talked to the media because obviously it's fight week and there's a media day every week during, before the fight. And he came out and talked about it straight on. Like nobody asked him to come out and talk about it. He did stick around and answer questions, which was kind of surprising to me. I was surprised that he stuck around and answered questions from the media, whether it be people that he decides are the right people to ask those questions. I don't know. Who gives a shit? You know, when it comes down to it, he stuck around and answered questions, and they were kind of tough questions. So, surface level, before getting to the video, when you first heard about that, like, what was your take on that? Like, how did you feel about the fact that somebody like Dana White, who's obviously in the spotlight all the time, did something like that and was that reckless to do it out in the public?
Like you said before I saw the video.
Before you saw this video that we just watched, like, when you saw the initial video of him slapping his wife and all that stuff, like, how did you feel about that? What was your reaction?
Um, I was kind of shocked just because, for one, I didn't expect that out of Dana White. But at the same time, it's kind of one of those things where it's not like you expect it out of somebody, but it kind of just happens, you know?
Right,
But, um, I was like, well, because like when I saw the video, you saw that his wife hit him first, and then he went and hit her back.
right.
And obviously, no matter which way it goes, it's still not okay. And it's just not okay to hit a woman either.
Yeah,
Like I said, it goes both ways. You shouldn't be hitting each other. But I was kind of, it also it threw me off more because like that day, so much other stuff happened,
yeah,
like Hamlin, you
right.
know. And there was like one other thing I can't remember, but I was like one of those things I was like, could anything else possibly happen? Then I go and see that video. I was like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like, why would you do that? So I was shocked, but
right. So, I mean, just coming from the perspective of an MMA fan and a UFC fan, like, obviously, I'm sure you lost respect for him like most of us did. Uh, but would that ever be, no judgment, but would that ever be something that would make you say, like, judging just from that video, would that make you say, I don't wanna watch the UFC anymore if he's involved in it? Or is it more like he really did something wrong, but, he's only a part of the UFC? Like, how do you feel about that?
Um, I wouldn't say I wouldn't stop watching UFC. Love UFC and I love everything about it. It's great entertainment. And obviously he's big name in the UFC. Obviously I lost respect for him, but I don't think I could stop watching UFC because of that.
Right.
If that answer
No, it
your
does.
question.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do stuff like that. Like, obviously, the kneeling of the national anthem got people to stop watching the NFL. This, that, and the other. There's always something that people don't. Oh, go ahead if you want to look at
No,
it. Oh,
I mean,
I don't care about the buzzing. I just thought it was mine. There's always something somebody does, and then people want to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna boycott this now. I'm not gonna watch this anymore. I'm not gonna go here. I'm not gonna go there." Are people not going to uh Chick-fil-A because they stay closed on Sundays for religious reasons? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's more that they have something against gay people. But and then there's other things, like there's all kinds of other shit like that. So when it comes down to it, I was just curious what you thought and how you thought of that. Obviously, it wasn't right, and you understand that and paid and you agree with that. So after watching the video of him and his explanations, like what what were your initial thoughts on that part?
um obviously it didn't, it's not like because he explained himself I gained that respect back. It's obviously still lost.
Right.
But what the way he explained it, um, made it easier to understand what he like the whole where I was going with my wording on that. But
Not understand what he did, but, like, understand where he's at the moment,
yeah,
maybe?
yeah, that
Okay.
makes that yeah, that works. Um, but it was just like he understood he was in the wrong, and obviously he's a big public figure, so he knows it's gonna be held over his head for so long, and he
Yeah.
even said it himself too. But as someone that big, you see him out in public, you're gonna know what he did.
Right.
So everything he said made sense, and obviously he's still completely in the wrong for what he did. And I mean, just that.
So, Here's the thing. People are still gonna say it's gonna take a while before people get over it, and it's never gonna be forgotten. Like, obviously, you know, he hit a, Hey, she's right. That's,
Wait, what?
yeah, it's Yesenia. She said if
Oh,
that happened in public, it lead it it leads others to speculate or assume what also happens behind closed doors. So, yeah, like, for sure, because he said that that's the first time that's ever happened. He's never done that before. His wife said that too in her statement. But here's the thing. His mom wrote a book back in the day in 2011 or 2013, one of those 2 years. His mom wrote a book, and she said that the reason why she wrote it was because his grandma got super sick. He said he would send her to the greatest hospital with all the best doctors in the world and take care of her, and apparently he didn't. So and he didn't even call to find out how she was or anything like that. So obviously, this is just hearsay because his mom, but I don't know what his mom has against him except for that. But she mentioned something about the fact that they're always fighting, they're always at each other's throats, and apparently hitting is something that happens all the time. She said that and you can look this up and you can find this interview. It just resurfaced again recently, obviously for obvious reasons, but um she basically said that on their honeymoon night that his wife hit him in the eye, gave him a black eye, and made and his black eye was so bad he almost lost his eye.
Dana White?
Yeah, that his
Oh,
wife on their honeymoon night hit him in the eye and made it and like gave him such a bad black eye that he almost lost his eye. That's what
holy
she said.
shit.
Yeah. And what's funny is when I was going over things, I totally forgot to mention that because I was enthralled in everything else I was doing. So yeah. So that's like something that just resurfaced because so like she said, you who knows what happens behind closed
Yeah.
doors. And a lot of what people are criticizing what he said was they asked him like what he regrets the most about that and that whole situation, what he would do differently. And all he said was, I wouldn't have gone out that night.
I remember hearing.
And so that's something people picked apart big time because they're like, no, no, no. You should have said, I shouldn't have hit my wife. You should have said I should have handled that differently and walked away. You should have said I I should have turned around and had somebody get in the between us so that this didn't escalate that way. But instead, all he said was, I should have stayed home. But here's the thing: people want to hate on him. It is what it is. Like that's how it goes. And so, looking at the flip side of that, I gotta say he said, "I should have stayed home," as in, maybe it's never an excuse, obviously, I'm over here having a drink, but what it is what it is. Alcohol was involved, right? That's not an excuse to me, but I get what he's saying. Maybe if he didn't go out, they would have had a peaceful night at home, nothing would have happened, or maybe he did mean, "If I didn't go out, I would have never got caught on camera," right?
True.
So,
Yeah.
what she's saying, I mean,
Yeah.
that holds weight.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, and I was just curious on how you felt. Like I said, we talk about things here and there. We talked about it earlier and stuff, but I always want to know like a little deeper. And this is more of a concentrated version of a conversation, right? Because we're not going anywhere. We're not looking at our phones. The only thing we're, looking at is maybe the chat, but that's it.
Yeah.
So it makes me like kind of want to talk about it a little deeper with other people and find out what they actually think about it. So
Yeah, because I'm like, you get different perspectives. Of like, for example, Sean O'Malley, completely different perspective on it and
Tell
everything.
tell everybody what he said. Do you remember?
I haven't looked at the post in a while, to
Oh,
be honest.
so Sean O'Malley did this thing. Basically, he was sticking up for Dana in the way that he said, "Well, she hit him first, so I can understand." So it's like, "Okay, Sean, does that mean you're gonna hit your girl too? Like, he's got a baby mama. Like, he's gonna hit her too? Like, what the fuck, dude? It's just some dumb shit. And I heard Brendan Schaub say something that rang true, which is you're not gonna get a bonus for defending Dana. Dana today or yesterday in that interview said he said, "Do not defend me. My actions are undefensible." And basically saying any fighter, any person, anybody like should not be defending me. He said that he's, responsible for his actions and nobody should be defending him. And then he also said he believes in freedom of speech, and if the fighters want to go out and criticize him for it, they can say what they want or call him an asshole or whatever. But the problem is there going to be any repercussions for somebody saying something like that? Maybe not right away, maybe down the line, unfavorable matches, taking forever to get them a fight, maybe not getting a bonus when they should, stuff like that. Who the fuck knows? Will that happen? I don't know. So that's why people don't want to talk about it. And that's why people like Sean, maybe he really feels that way. Maybe we're misconstruing what he said or misunderstanding, but maybe he just thinks that that's the best for his career right now is to back up the boss, even though the boss doesn't want him to.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things about Sean I didn't like.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that he kind of bounces back on that one and says like, "All right, I fucked up. I shouldn't have said that."
Mhm.
But I mean, does that make you feel any differently about him, or is that just one of those things where I didn't like that part, but you know,
Well, I'm like, nah, I obviously I love Sean O'Malley,
right?
but I think because of him trying to defend what Dana did, kind of made me lose that respect a little bit. Because I'm like, if you support or defend somebody that hit a woman, or yeah, then like regardless of who you are, I'm gonna lose a little respect for you because just don't do that.
Yeah,
And he like you said, Dana White said not to defend him, and then Sean, I think didn't Sean say that before?
yeah,
Okay, that's what I thought because that was just yesterday.
yeah,
Um, I would still lose the little bit of respect because I'm like you're supporting someone that did that, but like I still like Sean O'Malley,
yeah.
But
Well, I
uh,
mean, that's kind of what was my question was like, does that makes you, lose a little bit of that like for him, but obviously there's more to it. Like, she said cancel culture is real, and that's true. And I don't agree with it. I don't feel like people should lose their well-being for and lose everything in their life and wind up homeless because of one mistake. Now that's a big mistake, but it could have been way worse. It doesn't need to be way worse to be a punishable offense, but in the overall aspect of things, you know, people make mistakes. So, uh, have we ever seen him do it before? No. And everything else is hearsay. So, what else can we do but judge only what we saw? And what we saw was pretty bad. And I mean, I honestly, it looked like he slapped her a second time, and it also looked like he kicked her. Because it looked like somebody grabbed her and pulled her back, and it looked like he slapped her again, and then it looked like she fell, and it looked like he kinda kicked her. So, that was pretty bad. But it's not like no, there's no other way of saying that than it's bad, you
yeah, it's
know?
just
It
not a good thing.
obviously could have been worse. Maybe it's been worse in the past. Who knows? And that's the question that arises when something like this happens. So, he fucked up. He fucked up, and he admits to fucking up and all that, but there's still no there's not gonna be any repercussions for Dana White, and that I'm sure about. And then him saying that, pretty much that's not a punishment for him to be gone for 30 to 60 days, like, it just makes him sound like I'm above all this shit and this won't like, the UFC won't keep going if he's not involved. That's pretty much what he's saying. So, it's kinda fucked up.
Mm.
Um I mean, do you see the UFC as being, like, hand in hand with Dana White? Or if Dana White went away, do you think that, like, the UFC would keep going and being popular?
I know we had kind of talked about it earlier, like yeah, earlier. Um and I like just off the spot kind of was like 30, what was it, 30 days you said?
30 to 60 days is what
Easy.
people are saying he should be gone for.
Cuz I'm like definitely understandable. Like but Like, now that I sit down and I really think about it, I'm like, can I don't really know how to answer that now because 'cause I'm
Does
like,
it just seems silly. Like, what's it really gonna do? What's he gonna learn by staying away from like, if a fighter is suspended for 30 to 60 days, which really isn't much when you consider the time they take in between each fight, it's usually about 3 months between each fight, like, average. So, if you're gone 30 to 60 days on a suspension, that's really not a big deal. But if they're suspended for 2 years, like, if they get busted for steroids, that's the minimum. So if they're gone for 2 years, they're not getting paid because they're not fighting, right?
mhm,
So they have to have outside sponsorships and stuff like that. You get busted for something like this, you lose those sponsorships. So there's repercussions right away. Dana White didn't lose anything. Like his Power Slap League, they said initially that TBS took it off the schedule to be starting. And then it turned around not even a week later and was like, oh no, it's just getting pushed back a week. So it's still gonna be on TBS. It's still gonna have all they did was push it back a week so they could be like, "Oh, let's get a couple weeks removed from this incident."
mhm.
So, I don't think there's gonna be any real repercussions, and it kinda sucks, but at the same time, what are you really gonna do?
Yeah, I was gonna say 'cause I'm like, I honestly don't think they would do anything over that, like, suspend him or something, but it's just I don't like obviously Dana White's a really big face of UFC. I was like, I just don't know, like, really how to answer that now that I
Yeah.
really sit down and think.
The reality of it all is, like, what if you're like Nick Merckx, you like Nick Merckx a lot, right? What if you found out that he slapped a chick?
All like my respect would go down. Like,
Yeah, but you're probably still gonna watch him. You're probably still gonna follow him unless you hear that this is a constant thing.
mhm,
Unless you know what I mean? I'm not, like, criticizing you for doing it, I'm just saying, like, this is what most people think about. You're fine. And this is what, like, happens most of the time.
mhm,
So, I mean, think about how many, like, football players, basketball players have done shit that a lot of people criticize them for, and it's like, "But you're still watching the games.
mhm,
You're still collecting their cards, you're still buying their jerseys."
mhm.
So, like, what does it really do, you know? But at the same time, I don't think they should lose everything over it. So it's a toss up. It sucks. It's a rough it's a rough topic, but it was just something I wanted to bring up to, like I said, to hear from
Mhm,
someone of your age and generation and kind of feel like, cuz everybody I talk to is kind of my age, in my other podcasts and everything. So it's like kind of want to get the perspective of other people, other ages and stuff. So thank you for, you know,
Try.
talking with me about that. All right. So anyway, do you want to get into these fights?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Well, first off, we're gonna start off with a little bit of a downer. Now that I have something in my eye, little bit of a downer, but we gotta address this one. Here we go. If you haven't heard about it, Victoria Lee is she's only 18 years old. She was a fighter in one championship. I kept saying something about possibly being just an up and coming prospect, which I think is what I told you, but she was actually in one championship. She had a couple fights already under her belt. And unfortunately, she passed away the day after Christmas. And this was just like a freak accident from what I understand, or I'm sorry, not accident, but a freak thing that happened. And apparently, it sounds like it was heart issues. I'm not sure though. They haven't come out with anything, but all indications are pointing to something of that nature because they said she was perfect health. She was an elite athlete. She's only 18 years old, and we've been hearing stories and stories and stories of all these high level athletes that are just dropping dead or dropping in the field and being hospitalized for a heart issue of some sort. So it's kind of interesting and kind of sad, well, very sad and very just troubling to know that people are passing away that are in this stature, you know, um when it comes to health and stuff like that. So I know you didn't really know her that well, but she had a brother and a sister that both fought in one championship. Her sister's actually a champion at the moment. So unfortunately, they were very family oriented, and all three of them being fighters, it's a big thing in a family for that many. Obviously, they're just a bunch of savages that are crazy good at what they do. And so everyone's being brought up to be a great fighter, and she was on her way to being just as good. And unfortunately, she lost her life. So of course, I had to do a memorial kind of tribute thing for her because it's just sad. And her family had a gym where they're from, and they shut it down because, I mean, obviously, they probably can't deal with even the memory of her. I'm sure things will calm down after a while, everyone finds a way to deal with their grief and whatnot, but at the moment, it's just sad and it sucks. We don't even have any details, like, nobody knows exactly what the cause of death was. Um, I mean, is that something that, like, have you noticed any kind of trend in that way, uh, of maybe high level athletes or people that are very athletic and look to be in great health that have come across a problem like this where, you know, I mean, things that you've heard of, anything like that? Have you heard of anything else like that, or is it just the stuff that you see in the news as of recently?
Mostly just what I've seen in the news.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, obviously, I keep up with a lot of athletes, but none of them have been like heart issues or anything.
right.
So,
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's crazy the amount of things you read and hear about as far as a situation like this is one of those things just makes you think and wonder like what the hell's really going on and why has there been this uptick of people like passing away that shouldn't be. You know what
yeah.
I mean? And I get it, things happen regardless, but it's not like, well, we don't know what happened to her yet. Nobody knows yet. They haven't released any of it. But just the Damar Hamlin issue and stuff like that, like there's a lot of speculation and questioning around that one. So, I don't know how to feel about it and I don't really know what I think about it. But it is something that weighs on my head when I see something like this, and it just when the details come out is when I guess I'll make a little more of an assumption of what's happening. Not that it matters what I fucking think, but it's one I'm talking about it, so it's one of those things that I think about and makes me wonder what the hell's really going on and what happened with her, like why at such a young age and such a high level athlete like that to pass away suddenly is crazy.
Yeah.
So, and from what my understanding, she didn't have any other health issues or anything. So, yeah. So, RIP to Victoria Lee. Way too young and super talented. She could have gone a long ways, and unfortunately, she didn't have that chance. So, I just wanted to pay my respects and you know take some time on that one. So, here we go. We'll move along. I know normally I have some background music going on, but I didn't want to do that today since I had someone in studio. We don't need to have all those distractions and things happening in our ears. But have you seen anything about this week's fight? I know eh, we just had a month off of the UFC, right? But normally there's fights every week and it's hard to keep up with. So I didn't know if you had paid any attention to this week. It's okay if you didn't, don't worry.
I
But
really haven't, to be
no,
honest.
yeah. Okay, you haven't heard of any of the things going on with these fights this week at all?
No, I mean, on like Instagram, I follow a lot of the MMA pages,
Right.
and mostly I just see a lot of it from like MMA Junkie, and
Yeah.
it'll show some, but it's never some I like looked into. So,
You just don't keep up with it like I do.
well, like normally I like keeping up with like the like bigger cards,
Right.
those are definitely my favorite. But especially lately with me being so busy, I haven't really.
I don't blame you. There's a there's a lot to keep up with, and if I didn't do this podcast, I might not keep up with as much. Who am I kidding? I probably would. But I listen to all kinds of MMA podcasts, so anyway, so the fight that was supposed to happen for UFC Vegas 67, which again is another fucking Apex card, which sucks because I mean, so they fight in the Apex, which is
Mm.
their like small arena that they have, and they can only fit a couple hundred people tops, if that. And they usually only sell a few, you know, tickets and stuff. Mostly it's like all the families of the people fighting. But it's always quiet in there and it's really weird. Like you don't have that big crowd energy and stuff like that. So a lot of people hate it. This is something that's been going on since COVID and the lockdown.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
and on top of that, in the Apex, they have a smaller cage, so it changes the way a fight will go.
Mhm.
But this was supposed to be, um, I think of his name, Nasrat Imamov, Imavov. Oh my god, versus Kelvin Gastelum. But unfortunately, oh, I'm reaching. See, it's always over here, so I'm reaching over here. Unfortunately, this is what happened to Kelvin Gastelum. So that's not that doesn't look good at all. And I'll read what it says. I'm extremely disappointed to say the least. This I think he meant, "This is not how I wanted to start 2023. I worked my ass off and battled through a lot of adversity and was ready to put on a hell of a show this weekend. I apologize to Imamov, his camp, as well as the UFC and the fans." So basically, if you see his mouth, he's got blood in his mouth and he's missing a tooth because apparently he took a knee to the face. Yeah, in training. So, but the worst part is, I mean, if you look at his cheek, that looks like a staph infection. So when you get a staph infection, which the fighters get a lot because they're rolling around on sweaty mats with sweaty people, who knows who's clean and who's not, right? And then sometimes your body just breaks down when you're that, working out that hard and shit. You get staph. It happens. Doesn't happen to us all the time because we're not rolling around on dirty mats. It's not going to get cleaned until after. Bless you. But that's what a staph infection looks like pretty much on his cheek. So I'd assume between both of those things being wrong is why that's not a very flattering picture of him either. But yeah, I would assume that's why his fight is off with Ima Imavov. I don't
I don't know.
Dude, it's fucking tough. Anyway, so this motherfucker, Sean Strickland, is haunting me because as soon as I talk shit, he's all over the goddamn place now. I talk mad shit about Sean Strickland because I fucking don't like him.
Heard that one before.
Yeah. So now Strickland steps in and is fighting Imavov, whatever the fuck. Anyway, this is why I don't like Sean Strickland because he's talking this shit. I don't know if you saw any of the posts, but he was talking this shit about in the media day. He's talking about because I guess Imavov, I think that's how you say it. I know I'm gonna struggle every time. This motherfucker's name is hard to say, but apparently he's French, or that's what Strickland thinks. I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I guess he is, but Strickland's like, "What are the French known for? Being cowards. They give up. Blah 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 blah." So
The fuck?
it's like history shit apparently, but it's like he acts like he was the actual dude that was doing it. So he's talking that dumb shit. So that's your fight now. But this is oh, you gotta be kidding me. All right, cool. So I guess I am gonna have problems tonight. Hold on one second. Let's see. There we go. All right, so this is Imavov, however you want to say it. He's got good striking. He's got fast strikes. I'm hoping to see this kind of a beat down on Sean Strickland because fuck that guy. And I know Magic's gonna tell me to let it go already, but I don't care. Sean Strickland's a dick. But oh man, hopefully we see him get his ass beat like this. But oh, that now I know why because I skipped Strickland. But you know what? He deserves to be skipped, so fuck him. So moving on, Dan Ige versus Damon Jackson. So Damon Jackson, last time he fought was a week after his brother died. Yeah. So that was a kind of crazy thing that happened, and he kicked ass, and I'll show you that in just a second.
I was about to
But
say, did he win?
yeah,
Okay, good.
but Dan Ige apparently is on a 2-fight losing streak, and yeah, it's not good right now. He hasn't looked good recently. Um, so yeah, he needs this win. So here we go with Ige. Now looking at him, obviously he's got some heavy hands. I mean, that's a one punch, pretty much KO.
Damn.
Pretty nasty. Yeah, just drop that fool. Ugh. But here's what Damon Jackson did at a week from his brother passing away. And if you look at the time in round 1, I mean, it was just over a minute. So that's pretty much how the entire fight went. He just mauled him. He's emotional. His family's emotional. But yeah, that was a nasty, nasty fight. And he took out everything he had on that guy. So fucking Sabatini got his ass whooped just out of pure, like, wrong place, wrong time.
Well, props to him for still fighting and
Definitely.
kicking ass.
Yeah. Especially, like I said, less than a week. He said that his brother would have wanted him to fight.
Mhm.
He said his brother was his biggest fan and there's no way he couldn't fight. He had to fight for his brother.
Yep.
Which I mean, I shit, much respect to that guy.
Props.
Yeah. And then the other big notable fight is a women's bantamweight fight. Ketlin Vieira versus Raquel Pennington. So this should be a pretty good fight. It's number 3 Vieira versus number 6 Pennington. Raquel Pennington is always up there in contention and lingering at the top of the division. She tends to get beat right when she's ready to fight for a title. She got beat when she finally did fight for a title, but in her defense, she has stiff competition with Valentina Shevchenko up there. But Ketlin Vieira is looking like a beast and is looking like somebody that might actually make a good run for it and possibly give a good fight to Valentina.
Who do you think is gonna win with that one?
I'm gonna go with Vieira because if you see what I'm about to show you, she's a beast. She's got hands and she's got everything else too. She's good at jiu-jitsu. She's good at throws. She's good at wrestling. And if I remember right, she can punch very hard.
Shit.
But Pennington is one of those girls. Gotta push the button twice. One fight night 6. So this one, I don't know. Do you know much about One Championship?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so One Championship has a lot of different fights. They do Muay Thai, they do submission grappling, and then they do regular MMA. And then they mix it up sometimes. And we'll get into that in just a second because there is a mixed rules fight in this. Which do you remember Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse?
Yeah.
He fought in a mixed rules fight against one of the guys on this card as well. So let's go through it. One fight night 6. It's gonna be. It says on this poster Saturday, January 14th, but that's because that's Singapore time. It's actually gonna be Friday night. Um, Here's the fight card. So featherweight kickboxing. Oh, and kickboxing, Muay Thai kickboxing. They have everything. It's crazy.
Just
Uh, Featherweight kickboxing world championship. We got Super Bond. If you know anything about kickboxing, Super Bond is a big name. Against Chingiz El Azov. These fucking names are hard. You think the ones I was struggling with before were hard? These are even harder. Um, so yeah, that's a world championship fight for kickboxing featherweight. Then we got a flyweight kickboxing world championship as well. Superlek, dude, I'm not even gonna try against Daniel Puertas. You see that name? Kiat. It looks like MOO9. What the hell? All right, I'm not even gonna try that one. But the exciting one right away: flyweight submission grappling world championship. Mikey Musumeci is a fucking phenom, and he's been kicking everybody's ass against Gantumer Bayandurin. Fuck if I know if I said that right, but probably not. I mean, you gotta think this all these cards happen in Singapore, so of course you're gonna have a bunch of
oh,
names I can't. Yeah, Mikey Musumeci's a dope grappling artist. So and he's been kicking everybody's ass.
what is grappling?
Grappling, like submission grappling, jujitsu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Never heard that before.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. One championship's crazy. They have all kinds of stuff. So then we move on to the atom weight MMA and Muay Thai mixed rules fight. So this happened with Demetrius Johnson and Ra Tang, who's at the bottom left right there. They had a mixed rules fight. So basically what happens is actually I can tell you specifically right here. I should have added this in. Um I want to make sure it's the same way. Okay, so round 1 is there's 4 3-minute rounds. Round 1 is Muay Thai, round 2 is MMA, round 3 is Muay Thai, round 4 is MMA. So that's how they do that fight. Stamp Fair Texas is a badass fighter. She's been on the come up for a while now. I've talked about her before against Anissa Mexen. So yeah, that should be a pretty exciting fight. I like those mixed rules fights. They're pretty cool. They could end in the first round, they could end in the second, or they could go all the way and, you know, just be exciting all the way through. And then we got a catchweight MMA fight. I'm not gonna even try those names. But Ra Tang is fighting against Yibu. I'm not gonna try to say his first name either. But that's a flyweight kickboxing fight. And then Gary Tonin is known for jiu-jitsu as well, fighting Johnny Nunez, who I think Johnny Nunez, no, I know Johnny Nunez is Misha Tate's baby daddy.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't think they're married. That's why I say baby daddy to her boyfriend. I don't think they're married, but they have a kid together. So Misha Tate used to be employed by One Championship before she decided to come back to MMA. So he's fighting in this against Gary Tonin, which that should be exciting. I'll be happy to watch those highlights when they come out. I probably won't watch this live though. So that about wraps that up. I just realized what time it is too, and we've been going for a little over an hour.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, make sure you catch those fights. You got a little bit of everything. UFC finally, first fight of the year after a month layoff. You can catch that on Saturday. One Championship will be on Friday, and yeah, that's about it for that. That covers the fights. I know I went through the fights a little quick, but I was a little more interested in seeing what's up with Trent and having the guest. The guest has to be important, otherwise, why the fuck have guests, right? Um, you got anything else for me? Any questions? Anything else you want to talk about? Anything specific you want to bring up?
Mm, not really, but I would say I would definitely do this again,
Yeah.
especially down the line,
Okay.
progression.
No, that's cool with me. I like, especially now that I have this new desk, we have this new setup. Maybe we'll, kind of brainstorm a little bit and see if we can find a different way to set up. Like right now in the picture, obviously it's bugging me that I'm like a little off to the side. You're that way. There's a lot of space between us. Maybe we can find a different way of setting it up or whatever. But not bad for a first round. At least I hope not. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Um, yeah, if you want to do this again, definitely I obviously it's my podcast and
Yeah.
you live here, so
Yeah.
anytime you're available and you want to jump on, if you start doing new stuff with your stream, especially, you can come in and plug that. Um, Let everybody know where to find you. Where are you most active? Where are you streaming? What do you got going on?
Obviously it's on the screen, but you can pretty much find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter as of right now at Tenettrin. I stream on Twitch. That's obviously where I'm at always. But
And what do you mostly post on YouTube? Because you just post videos, right? You don't stream on YouTube at all.
I don't
Okay.
stream. I only have one video up right now. That's just of gameplay of, I believe it's Call of Duty.
Okay.
So obviously I got to get going on that.
Yeah. And what are
But
you doing? You're just posting like highlight clips and stuff, or just like interesting parts from your stream?
kind of depends on like what in COD I'm playing. Like the one I uploaded was Search and Destroy, like a game
Okay.
of it. Um, but I posted a couple clips on Instagram of like a highlight or just some kind of crazy thing that happened. But I think I'm gonna be uploading tomorrow. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
mostly on Twitch.
Sounding like you have some videos like that you need to go over and be able to extract some stuff out of.
Yeah.
Hey, I all I gotta say is if you're posting it on Instagram, you might as well put it out there on YouTube. You
Yeah.
know, 2-3 minute videos. Who gives a shit?
I
Because
forget shorts are a thing.
Well, shorts are a thing, but you can just throw the video out there too. It doesn't
Yeah.
even matter. I mean, people's attention spans it's tough getting through an hour and 15 minutes that we just did for other people to watch it and
Mm.
pay attention and be into the whole time. So, short videos are good.
Yeah.
And, if you put it together for Instagram, throw that shit on YouTube too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Might as
It
well.
it can't do any harm. So,
Mm.
yeah. So, I mean, unless you got anything else, we can probably wrap it up.
I would say schedule wise for me, it really just depends now because I school and stuff. Lately, it's been around like 8:30 on like the weekdays. It really just depends. Sometimes I'm not even here.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah, so it's sporadic, but if you go and follow Trin on Twitch and, subscribe to her Twitch and hit that notification bell, then you'll know when she's streaming. Because I get the notification all the damn time. Yes. So those are the things you need to do. And then go check out her YouTube and Instagram too. I see her stuff popping up on Instagram all the time. Make sure you hit that little heart in the bottom and like it because that's what helps. And if you're watching it and you do like it, that just lets her know that you are. Same with me. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Make sure you share this video. If you know Trin, if you're watching this or you know me and you think it's cool that I did a podcast with my daughter, because I think it's pretty fucking cool.
Oh
So
yeah.
share it, like it, comment again, even if you're watching this later. Go check it out on all of the anywhere you can get a audio only podcast on any platform. You can find me there too. Going Around's podcast. And yeah, I didn't put up any of my stuff, but who cares? Catch me on the Rumble podcast Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Sundays, 8 p.m. Arizona time. You fix that time for your region as you may. Um, but anyway, we just did a draft of what did we do last night? Oh, our favorite apps on our phone. That's what we did a draft of. So I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it on TikTok, the drafts?
No, I've been on TikTok a lot, really.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
so on TikTok they do drafts a lot of things that like normal things, but you do it in like a fantasy football type draft. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's what we do on Wednesdays, especially. But we get into all kinds of topics. So you guys have heard me talk about it like crazy. But any new listeners here today, check it out on the Rumble Podcast YouTube channel or go to rumblepodcast.com. You'll find it all there. Anyway, thanks again for joining us today. Thank you, Trin. I appreciate you and I love you. And I hope nothing but good things for you and your channel. And yeah, just keep doing the damn thing because that's what I'm doing here.
Well,
So
thanks for having me,
yeah,
and I
for
love you
sure.
too, and definitely excited to see where yours goes too. So,
No shout outs for anything else?
not that I can think of.
Okay, cool. I just wanna make sure I forget about shit all the time,
Yeah.
so sometimes you get asked that question and then it reminds you of something. So, anyway, that's it for us. Appreciate you all. Join me next week again. I don't think I have any guests lined up yet, but we have a UFC, um I'll do a recap of this week's fight, and we have the first UFC pay-per-view card of the year that I can preview next week. So catch me next Thursday. All right.
Be
Thanks, Trin.
there or be fucking square.
There you
Period.
go. All right. Peace.